think we have the obligatory, you have a great name opening, right?
Yes.
I think so. Sean Murphy.
Sean Murphy.
With F5.
Yes, with F5.
You are a CISO, been a CISO for many, many years.
Yes.
And we met a long time ago. We didn't realize it until we reconnected now. So good to see you.
Yep.
So good to see you.
too.
And you're a field CISO for F5 now. So you're bringing all the knowledge and experience of being in the seat and helping F5 customers through the challenges that they face, given your experiences and the value that F5 brings with its solutions. How's that going? It's a new role for you.
It's going great. It's drinking from the fire hose.
Right.
As you mentioned, for at least the last 7 to 10 years, I've been a customer on the customer end of F5 and thought I knew a lot about what they were delivering with big IP and with the wide area, the web application firewalling. And as I joined the organization just about four weeks ago, have really come to learn more about F5 as a cybersecurity company. I think depending on how you do the math, it's about the 7th largest cybersecurity company. If you throw in big IP as a security tooling, and as a CISO, I know that it's about confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Right. So I do think that big IP and load balancing is certainly part of the security portfolio.
People forget availability.
Yes, and without availability, there's no resiliency, and there's all the other things that we worry about in the security space. Yeah. So F5, as I've come in, 30-year company that has a lot of solution sets around those parameters, moving into the AI space with the WAF that's powered by an AI backend, and the acquisition of SecurePath just recently to bring more AI capabilities into our risk scoring. And so even as a customer who thought they knew a lot about what F5 does and can bring to the table, in the last 4 weeks I've come to learn there's a very deep inventory of capabilities and solutions that like I said, I'm drinking from the fire hose to learn.
Well, there's a lot of stack to learn, right? There's the networking, the applications, certainly the data stack with the AI and APIs serving all this stuff. As a CISO, and from your peers as well, if you want to bring in some of that experience and understanding, organizations are pushing, already have pushed the envelope in terms of AI adoption. Right. What does that do to a CISO?
Beyond give you the night sweats,
Right.
I would say, first of all, we grow up in the CISO community knowing that we have to be aligned with the business, we have to be aligned with the strategic imperatives of the organization, no matter what industry you're in, no matter, I was in very highly regulated industries, but nonetheless, the business is the business, and unless you're in a pure cybersecurity company, you have to be able to build that balance and build that trust. But the way AI has moved from experimentation and been democratized through anybody can build an agent, and they do, which brings up the topic of shadow AI, which is, it's there, it's happening. Moving that from experimentation to in production is something that has really accelerated the cybersecurity, the CISO role, the cybersecurity, because it's really not just about accelerating the cyber, it's about the physics behind it. The forces are multiplying, the speed, the scale, all of those things that are really, in some cases, existential in an organization are now laying at the feet of the CISO to get ahead of in terms of governance and visibility, and I will ultimately make the point that it's not to be laid at just the feet of the CISO. There's accountability that has to happen in this space, but I think the model really is multiple individuals that have to be accountable for what the agents are going to do, right, and what decisions they make.
So let's start at the top, because the executive leadership team, business owners, one and the same in some organizations. What should they know from you as a CISO as they're interacting with your team and deploying AI or letting their teams deploy AI and whatnot?
Well, I think it starts with something that I think we all learned earlier in our career, that it can happen to you. We used to say it's not if, it's when. In this case, with AI, it absolutely can happen to you. With the way the adversary is able to weaponize agentic AI so that you can no longer hide in I'm a small organization or I'm a medium-sized organization and how could I possibly be a target? This has not happened to us before. The vulnerability to exposure to exploit curve is really gone for all intent and purposes. So there's no hiding places. If you're plugged into the internet, the agentic AI, the adversary will find you at scale and at speed. And so first of all, executives have to know that this can happen to you. Right. It can. And the second thing they have to know is that while there is proper investment in the innovation of agentic AI in the first place, there's also got to be the governance and the investment in the security capabilities that help us put the guardrails on and do it safely and securely so that we're not rushing headlong into a data breach or some kind of SEC filing, which has happened. Right. Based on shadow IT or shadow AI.
Yeah, well,
Freudian slip there.
All the same. So the way I look at it is it's basically skunk works on steroids, right?
That's a good one, yeah.
Everybody has the ability to spin up their own little thing, and even if it's business sanctioned, it's still a bunch of things. Mm-hmm. And I feel that the time of designing and architecting a system mm-hmm. that has testing and validation and maybe even some audit if it's being regulated before it gets deployed. So the stuff's just being deployed now. So how do CISOs kind of get ahead of that? Are there tools? I'm sure F5 has capabilities to kind of help with some of this stuff.
So one of the things that I particularly like about the model that the application, the ADSP platform for F5 has is around being able to kind of see at the customer edge and at the regional edge that the AI, the agentic AI capabilities or the attempts to attack, they're seeing them before they're getting into the environment of our customers, and they're with AI logic and with risk scoring able to, and here's the key, able to at least delay the issues before they hit the home base of the production environments of our customers. So it gives us a little bit of time as a CISO right. to detect, respond, recover in some cases, or to do the patching, do the configuration management in a very much compressed timeline, but not the almost instantaneous timeline that it is. And I'll take a step back to say it still starts with governance. It starts with some level of gating with a business justification, a named accountable owner of the agents, whatever they are, because again, and I don't worry so much about somebody who owns what the agents do. I want somebody that is going to be accountable for when the agents do something we didn't intend them to do, because intention, that's really the new frontier, the new parameter,
right.
or the perimeter, new perimeter.
New perimeter?
Yeah.
The frontier, I love that word frontier, because it is a new frontier. And so how are some of your peers and maybe conversations you had leading into the new role, and maybe some examples from being in the new role where you're talking to CISOs challenged here as well, where they're able to actually embrace the technology and set up their teams to actually do some cool things? Mm-hmm. What are you hearing there?
Well, actually, I'll take it in a little bit of a different direction, because one of the really nearest term stories that I heard yesterday, I was talking to one of my colleagues, and he was talking about how 2027, I have a roadmap of investment that I want to do, and guess what? I'm now pivoting, hard on building out the AI capabilities on my team, which it takes time. Humans have to take time to build up their skills. So our security teams are all learning on the fly. This wasn't programmed necessarily in 2026 going into 2027. So now that's a hard pivot that has to, get people up to speed. So that's one area where I'm hearing, yes, there's a rush to invest. There's a rush to get ahead of this, but it's actually more of a pivot than anybody really thoughtfully going into this. I mean, we're in a reactive mode to be proactive.
Right. And so the CISOs that you're talking to now, they're trying to figure out how to organize their team, have conversations with the business leader. What's the executive level conversation sound like? Is it different now than it was last year?
In terms of the cybersecurity, justifications,
right.
and the
I'm
return on investment?
And I think more specifically, kind of like the best practices, like, because you're talking about a pivot, where if you're gonna pivot, you're taking something away and doing something different. So what about best practices and fundamentals? Are some of those things in jeopardy? Are you able to leverage some of those things?
Well, again, it starts with the strategic imperatives. So at the executive level, they're telling me what they want to have happen. Go to market faster. They want to be innovative. They want to put a better customer experience out there through AI. I'm coming to the table with, okay, so here's what we need to do to make all of that happen in the timeline that you want it to happen. So there's tooling that we have to invest in. I think this gets to really more of your last question about skill setting the team and showing the executive management that we are investing in tool sets that embed AI functionality, like the ADSP with F5 and the AI powered web application firewalling and et cetera. And so having those capabilities in place help me to assure executive leadership, and I'll throw in the board for good measure, because they're actually putting the pressure on most organizations, because they're coming to the executive team and saying, why aren't we doing more and in this area? And so then the executive team is responding to that. And as a security professional, as a CISO, you have to be able to get in those conversations and then give the assurance and the confidence that you are building in the capabilities to help enable them to be able to do those things at some frictionless speed.
Right.
Because again, I go back to the physics part of this. There is a coefficient of friction that's changing as well.
Right.
Within this. So, you can't be the place to go say no, but you also have to put just enough in there so that we're not racing to the headlines for bad things.
I would imagine the amount of noise that you hear as a CISO, in terms of these are all the problems you have, even if you haven't experienced it yet, here are all the solutions available to help you with all of those problems. And oh, by the way, you have to change your environment for some of them. You can plug some of it into your existing environment. It's a lot of noise. So as a CISO, I know you rely on your peers. A lot of CISO communities come together and talk about these things. How important are those conversations through you and the community to help build trust with the people you're talking to now, so that conversation is solid throughout the community?
Yeah, that's a good question. So if you're referring to me personally in this role, I think it starts with a little bit of the been there, done that, right? I've got the battle scars. I know what a CISO is going through at the board level, at the executive team level, within their own building programs and teams. I maybe haven't done their job, but I've done a job very much like their job. So I try to bring some authenticity and credibility to the conversation. Beyond that, I think where I see the conversations going is we're all looking for the maximum efficient technologies and solution sets that we can put in. I call it the best solutions that work the best together, which leads you to more of a platform of solutions discussions. Again, it's why I've been very happy with what I know now that F5 is investing in and doing, because it's coming together as a platform that CISOs can put in place and not have to chase after all the niche products that do this one thing or that one thing. Even if they do it like a little bit better, it's still better inside of a platform that you have, your team's fully trained up on, you're fully leveraging, and if they can do the AI risk scoring, and they can do the runtime analysis, and they can do the checking for behavioral probabilistic type of alerts. If they can do all that in a platform, then why not, go that direction. So, F5 brings a very compelling argument to the table as a security company for a platform approach.
I love it. And going to give you a moment, Sean, to maybe say a final word, and then maybe I'll peek into the last 4 weeks. Is there a moment where a customer or a prospect looked to you and said, I had no idea that was possible? Thank you for bringing that experience or that knowledge to me.
I wish I could say yes, but I'll turn that around to say, within F5, and as I'm meeting with peers and colleagues and people that I'm going to be working with to go to the customers, I get the feedback that we have to demonstrate to our customers how much we are a cybersecurity company. We're not your, this is not my phrase, but we're not your granddaddy's F5. Right? We are bringing to the table real cybersecurity solutions, and the customers that we have that are using them, like Sean Murphy in my previous role, I can give you stories of how I was saved literally by F5 and some of the protections that we got through the Silverline and the Shape acquisitions that F5 had and the botnet protections prior to anybody talking about AI.
Right.
I mean, we're talking about automated onslaughts of attacks that F5 helped me push off and keep our business up and running. And so, big fan coming into the organization from a customer perspective, but now just kind of wanting to get out there and help get that word out and get people to have a shared experience with me of how I've seen the world and how I've experienced F5, because I think it can help compel them to drive towards that platform mentality, drive the big solution set that F5 brings to the table.
So cool. Well, they're lucky to have you. Lucky to have you, and I think the CISO community is in a much better place now that you're here to kind of help spread the word of what you know through all the channels you have access to now. So I'm super proud.
Thanks, Sean. And you guys,
Congratulations
we share a great name, so that's the best part of
it. Exactly. So be sure to connect with Sean Murphy, that is, and connect with me too if you like. But he's going to be more interesting to talk to. And connect with the F5 team. A lot of innovations in AI and up and down the stack to help you protect your applications and your environment. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more.